Alrighty, hello everybody. Just doing a quick gander at a Magicka Templar for the upcoming update. This is done on PTS, so something just for a little bit of an insight to come. I am using a Dark Elf for this build. Other like races to use here would probably be best fitted for High Elf for best results. Orc not so much. But ultimately this build can be run on anybody. This is just the most viable for score pushing. So tried out a whole slew of different things, different setups, different skills, and this I've pretty much settled on this guy. So what we're running here is Sioria's Reliquin's one-piece Slime Craw, two-handed Maelstrom Backbar, as well as Velothi's Urmage Amulet. So front bar we have both daggers, both are charged, main hand with poison, off hand with flame. That Maelstrom Greatsword on the back bar, excellent buff to your direct damage attacks. And of course we have infused and weapons damage on there. Greatsword is preferred because of the two-handed passive for weapon and spell damage increase. Here's our one-piece Slime Car, only piece of medium, or I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm thinking backwards. This is our just a regular medium helm. The Sioria's light is the source of the one-piece light. I just parsed on deadly, so I got a little backwards there. But all pieces here are divines. All pieces are max magicka. Majority of our body is going to be Reliquin over here to satisfy the 6 medium 1-piece light for all of those good armor passives and get our critical damage up. Of course, here's our Urmage's Amulet. Bloodthirsty on all jewels. All have the multi-effect enchantment. Just a quick reminder, the multi-effect shows up twice. It shows up for the quote-unquote spell and weapon damage enchants, as well as, I believe, the tri-stat. So make sure you're putting the right one on there. I have all Magicka recovery. Does not on a Templar. It does kind of sort of matter what you choose here, depending on your race, depending on the exact build and sets you're running. You may want to play around with this. I'm finding, as with most Templars, you find that you're having trouble sustaining Magicka or stamina. It's not either. It's not one or the other. It's normally something's always going down. Of course, we have everything in the Magicka in terms of attributes. Running the Ghastly Eyeball Parse Food for Magicka Recovery and Max Magicka. And of course, the Thief Mundus. For skills, front bar Radiant Oppression, your main execute spammable. I try to throw this starting at about 30% off and on. And of course, as the parse goes on, you start phasing out other skills, and this becomes the main damage dealer, due to its rampant damage increase depending on the lost damage that your boss has. Degeneration, excellent dot. Power of the Light, excellent burst damage, as well as it provides the Sundering status effect, which is huge right now under the current patches. Not to mention just the 200% damage increase over the duration of this attack. Excellent. Puncturing Sweep, your main spammable up until about that 30%, and then swap over to your beam. Barb Trip, excellent dot. Flawless Dawnbreaker only here on your front bar for the the Fighter Skill passive. Shooting Star on your back bar, your main ultimate. Due to the high cost of this, and as well as the Templar's ability to gain ultimate, you're probably going to only use this maybe 3 times. You will not use it during execute. Beam does way more damage to this. Solar Barrage, one heck of a buff to the Templars. The Empower that it gives is kind of irrelevant on a 2-bar build, but that extra 5% to class abilities just goes a long way. Try to keep this up 100% of the time, maybe with the exception of the last 5 or 10%. Stampede, your source of weapon damage increase due to the enchant on the back bar. Not to mention an excellent dot. Ritual of Retribution, one hell of a dot. Damage increases over time. Vampire's Bane, again, one hell of a dot. And of course, Carve. And yep, you guessed it, one hell of a dot. So with all those dots being said and done, you're going to want to run the dot CP increase here, as well as Wrathful Strikes, Deadly Aim, and Exploiter. My personal feeling, you don't get that much of increase in Exploiter on a dummy, but who knows, I don't know everything about this game, but that's what the pros do, so that's what I'm doing. Everything else doesn't really matter too much. I'm running Rejuvenation in the red tree, just for those, that extra recoveries. I got nothing in the green tree right now, but... Alright, so in terms of rotation, what are we looking at here? So, you're going to want to start off pre-buffing, of course, with a potion. I have both the Spellcaster and Warrior Elixir, aka Weapon Pot Potion, and Spell Power Potion over here. Depending on what happens, I might do a quick swap of the potions. We'll see what happens. But I'll normally start on the Warrior just to give me a little buff since my stamina is a bit low on this guy. You'll then start off with putting Barb Trap down on the ground for the dummy. As that is casting, you'll want to swip to the back bar, click Solar Barrage, hit Stampede. I like to swap to front bar and hit Power of the Light for that burst damage and the Sundering. Swap back to the back bar, finish off the rest of my dots. Only one carve at a time. I find it's not that necessary to do 3 in a row. And then of course you hit your ultimate before swapping to the front bar, casting Degeneration. And by that time your Power of the Light should be back for to activate the skill, and you're in full rotation at that point. Keep up dots as applicable, and of course we'll do something a little bit different towards the end when we start beaming. So, without further ado, let's get her underway. Alright, so not too shabby. I did mess up once or twice there. I missed a carve or two. Missed some timings that I wasn't too particularly proud of. I got 108 here. I did get 111 a little while ago. That 109 was with Reliquins and Deadly. But as you can see there, it's pretty much identical to a Deadly, a setup with Deadly Strike. For content, I would absolutely recommend Deadly Strike over Seoria. I just wouldn't even bother wearing Seoria except for only parsing, due to the fact that you have to stay pretty much stationary for that ring to give you that extra weapon and spell damage. It's beautiful for parsing, depending on the fight, not so great in content, but should be pretty easy to maintain. My weaving isn't the best compared to the professionals, but as you can see, my critical damage is right at where I want it, right at the max, 127%. There you can see the 108. And then again, weaving, the closer you get to 0, the better it is. Mine wasn't quite there, but here you can see the rest of the gear loadout as well as some CP. Missed a couple of casts here, but nothing major. Still kicked ass, took names. I'm probably going to swap my build for this myself. Get away from Inferno.